Hey everyone. Um, I'm not going to apologize for not shaving. I had no intention of actually showing my face in this podcast. Once again, I was wrong. We're going to start here in this direction, and then I'm going to put you, I'm going to put you in my pocket so you can see me actually working. For this podcast, we're going to talk about embroidering the face of the bear. Now, for this, you need your finished headpiece from the pattern. You also need pair of scissors. I stole these from my grandmother. She's dead now, so I doubt she cares. You need an embroidery needle. I don't subscribe to the difference between metal and plastic. Some people have their own particular preference. I had a plastic needle that lasted probably a year and a half, and it worked just fine until it pooped out on me. What I really want you to do, though, is make sure that your embroidery needle has a nice big eyelet, because we're working with worsted weighted wool, and you want to be able to thread it through. And you also need one of your double pointed needles. It's for one simple purpose, but does come in handy. And you need about, I think the rule is from the tip of your finger to your shoulder is 3 feet or a yard. So basically just go 1, 2, 3, and that's about how much you're going to use to embroider the face of the bear. Let's give that a quick snip and put that over to the side for a minute. Oh, don't forget your polyfill. Now, when I'm stuffing the head of the bear, I like to make absolutely sure that I don't overstuff. I've seen patterns before that say just stuff, stuff, stuff until you can't stuff anymore. And I don't really like that idea, because at some point you'll end up bleeding through the actual stitches. You don't want to do that, because you'll compromise the work. Because eventually this polyfill will compact itself and will settle, but the stitches won't. They'll be stretched for good. Now, as I'm stuffing the head of the bear, I like to actually use my fingertips so that I can put more up here, maybe make the crown, more along the sides to make the cheeks. Yeah, I think you can see that, can't you? I don't know. At some point I'm gonna get a hang of this. Or even better yet, I'll be able to afford a camera crew. Alright, so I want to keep going until the piece is nice and firm, but like I said, not overdone. And as you're stuffing, you can start to shape the head. I mean, you can make the crown of the bear as big as you want. You can make his cheeks as poofy as you want. Oh, it really doesn't matter. It's all personal preference and artistic judgment. Alrighty. I think we're just about there. I'm going to put a little more up here. Kind of manipulate the stuffing. Yeah, that's about right. There we go. Looks like a head to me. I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to put just a touch more in the back. A lot of this polyfill comes with these wooden sticks that you can use for stuffing. If you want, that's cool. I usually don't. I've thought about actually turning them into knitting needles, but we'll see. So once we're done with this, we're going to pull that tight. And then just kind of stitch this up just a touch, maybe 1 or 2, just to make sure that it's nice and closed for good. A couple of stitches through, like I said, just to secure the back. Make sure the hole is nice and closed. 2 or 3 should be fine. Let's give it 3 for good measure. Always 1 extra helps. All right. We're going to leave this, as you read in the pattern, it calls for leaving this nice long, about 18-inch strand left after you've taken the piece off the needle. And you want to use that eventually. Alright, so let's see, my bear's head looks about right at that. I'm going to stick that right there for a second. Yeah, this is probably one of the few times in my life I don't mind a crotch shot. And grab my thread. Excuse me, my yarn, it's not thread. This is also a worsted weight black wool. Thread that through. Now, when you're embroidering the face, you always want to make sure that you're thinking 1 stitch ahead. When you're moving the needle in one way, you're thinking about where you're going to come out the next way, okay? So just keep that in mind. So if this is going to be the head, or the face, excuse me, probably think about the eyes right there. You see the nose right there. Right there is the cast on. So I'm going to come from underneath the head to about 1/2 inch over to the left of the cast on, and pull it through, leaving about 2 inches off the bottom. I'm going to go over, again, maybe the equal amount, half an inch over to the right side of the cast on, and go this way. And pull it out from the exact same stitch that you had entered from. I'm going to do this until it looks roughly about the width that I want it to be. Every once in a while you pull out little fuzzy bits of the polyfill, which is okay. Just kind of pull them off just a touch. It's not going to hurt anything. I would not use a lint brush or anything like that because you'll just end up compromising the actual yarn itself. And yes, I am going back and forth from the same stitches over and over and over. Now again, if you wanted to take artistic license and do more of a V shape, then you would start going to the stitches, just one under, and then one under here, and one under here until you made a V. But for our purposes, for this particular gorgeous, adorable teddy bear, we're going to stick with what we know. Now I think I've got enough about, yeah, I think that's about right. It looks like a nice little nose. So then, as I said, you're always thinking to the next step. So as we go in from this stitch, instead of going all the way over to create the nose again, we're going to go underneath all these to the cast on right about there. Let's see. Can you see that? There's my needle, if you can see. Right through the middle and pull it out. Yeah, every once in a while I do give it a nice little tug just to reshape it. And then I usually go about 2 stitches down, go in, but I'm thinking again the next step forward, which is going to be to make the mouth, the bottom corner. So I usually go about right there. See, there's the muzzle, there's the mouth. We're going to go back in that stitch that we entered from and do the same on the opposite side. I'm sure there are professional embroiderers out there who have a particular name for this. I don't know what it's called. Oh look, this is a great example. Hey, check this out. Every once in a while you may think that you've hit the right one. It's okay, you can just go right back in. See, I undercompensated. So now let's go further down. Pull it out. There we go, that matches. We're going to go back in from the stitch we entered from, and now we're going to start thinking about the eyes. Now, right along here at the corner of the nose, I usually go in a nice diagonal, I guess about, 2 inches or so, to right about there, and that's where I'm going to come out. So, oops, go in through this way, and come out right about there. Oops, there.